Now at 11, the ongoing effort to reduce gun violence and open drug dealing at a historic Portland park. Plus, the Southeast Portland neighborhood waiting for the city to respond to an increase of people living in their vehicles. And in Washington, the latest on discussions over how transgender athletes could participate in middle and high school sports. Before we get to those stories, we're going to take a look at the weather. We're looking outside right now. Kind of a quiet Saturday night at this point. There were some scattered showers throughout the day, but everything is expected to dry up at least early tomorrow. Thanks for joining us at 11. I'm Art Edwards. Celine Stevens joins us tonight with a look at our weather. Celine, those dry conditions are not expected to last all that long.
Definitely not. And even right now you can see it looks like we have some raindrops on the Rose City Sky camera. Light showers passing through in the evening, and same story tomorrow morning before we do turn dry for a couple of hours, and then the heavy rain comes right back in. Right now sitting at 45 degrees outside, those winds at 6 miles per hour. And you'll see on our satellite radar over the last few hours, we've had that rain moving through the area. Again, mainly light showers. This hasn't been significant rainfall. No big totals that we've been seeing. Again, just brief showers passing in and out of the area. Some places getting hit, other places not. But again, tomorrow night, the heavier rain comes. And so taking a look at our watches and warnings, we do have this winter weather advisory still in effect, of course, for the Cascades, Mount Hood area. Expires actually tomorrow at 10 a.m. for the northern and central Cascades here in Oregon. The 4 a.m. deadline is for the South Washington Cascades. So we're seeing this due to seeing potentially up to a foot of snow falling overnight in that area. Even as they get into Sunday night, once this expires, they could still see an additional 3 to 10 inches. So lots of snow in that area, pretty hazardous if you're driving too. But real fast, looking at tomorrow, 7 a.m. starting the morning with some light rain potentially. Temperatures 38 degrees by noon, low 40s, mostly cloudy. That's when we get some sun breaks. And then we get to around 4 p.m. and then here comes more of that rain, 47 degrees, and that's going to continue into Monday. We'll talk all about that a little bit later. Art?
Thanks, Celine. New tonight in western Washington, it was a very close call for a driver on I-5 in Whatcom County. A tree fell on their car. This happened as a storm system brought heavy rain, gusty winds, and mountain snow into the area. In Kirkland, people are without power for the second time in less than a month. A chunk of a tree toppled over onto power lines again.
This tree has had difficulties before. The last big power storm, another part of that tree fell down and crossed the same set of wires.
The storm system knocked out power for tens of thousands of people. Other people, crews have been making progress restoring the service. But as of 10 o'clock tonight, there are still about 20,000 Puget Sound Energy customers who are without power. Residents in North Portland's Elliott neighborhood voiced their concerns at City Council on Wednesday about ongoing safety concerns in Dawson Park. This as Council approved a resolution to show their support for ongoing improvements at the historic park. John Adams has been following this story. He has more on residents' main concerns.
Well, they point to the ongoing issue of gun violence and open drug dealing in the park. Despite having a playground on the 2-acre site, many don't feel safe enough to use that or other park amenities.
Dawson Park is a fixture of this community, and sadly one that myself and many of my neighbors are not able to enjoy because of the murders, gunshots, open drug use and dealing, and prostitution that occur in the park.
On Wednesday, residents that live near Dawson Park in North Portland addressed City Council about what it's like to live in the neighborhood.
This beautiful 2-acre historic site has become an area where parents don't feel comfortable bringing their kids. I don't feel comfortable taking my dog for a walk in my own neighborhood.
One parent described being at the park's playground with his daughter in 2021 when 2 men with guns fired at each other.
We hid behind a plastic piece of play equipment while seeing 2 men with guns looking at each other, both looking afraid, and decide whether to continue to fire at each other.
Gun violence has been an ongoing concern at the park. In July, over 80 shots were fired in a shootout. 2 people were hit with gunfire and 1 person died. The city of Portland says it has made safety at Dawson Park and the surrounding areas a priority.
Our city teams have been working diligently to reduce gun violence, to address livability issues, and support our local community in the Dawson Park area.
The city has recently installed extra lighting fixtures and power wash sidewalks around the park and hope to improve lighting in the gazebo and add picnic tables. Police have also increased walking patrols. Neighbors acknowledge things seem to be moving in the right direction.
In the last year, we have noticed hearing less gunshots, which is one positive sign of progress.
Council also passed a resolution at the meeting to formally express that this work will continue as the city government transitions to a new structure in 2025.
Things are getting better, so please don't take your eye off of this.
In Portland, John Adams, KGW News.
We have an update now to a death investigation in Washington County. Sheriff's deputies arrested the partner of 64-year-old Mary McDowell. She was found dead on Eddy Road west of Sherwood early Friday morning. Authorities arrested 38-year-old Jose Morfin for second-degree assault, unlawful use of a weapon, and felon in possession of a firearm. They say more charges may be coming. The Sheriff's Office is also asking the public for any information that might be related to this crime. Also in Washington County, deputies arrested a Portland man following an investigation into multiple indecent exposure cases. The Sheriff's Office believes that this man, 36-year-old Derek Bond, is linked to 10 incidents between October and December, mostly happening in the Cooper Mountain area of Aloha. In nearly every incident, Bond, a newspaper delivery man, would allegedly confront women directly to expose himself. The Sheriff's Office believes that there may be more victims, and they are urging people to reach out if they have more information. The number to call is 503-846-2700. A street in southeast Portland has become somewhat of a magnet for people living in RVs and cars. Neighbors along Southeast Knapp Street have been reporting it to the city for years and were told that concrete barriers are on the way to prevent people from camping there. But 3 months later, those barriers are nowhere to be seen. City officials said they are still securing the funding and permits needed.
Just do it. I'm tired of hearing we're gonna.
Why would they put all the money into doing that, into labor and the product, instead of putting the money to where it should go? Treatment for people that need it, or housing for people that need it.
There's a lot of good people out here that, they need help.
Mayor Ted Wheeler told KGW that he will personally follow up with the people running this program to make sure the issues are addressed. It was a busy morning of DUI calls for Vancouver police. Officers were investigating a DUI crash early this morning when they say that a drunk driver hit their patrol car. No one was hurt. And then around 5 o'clock in the morning, officers were called to another crash where a drunk driver ran into a concrete wall. The driver and passenger were hospitalized and expected to make a full recovery. Vancouver police and other local law enforcement are warning drivers that impaired driving does increase during the holiday season. Developing now at Portland State University, 17 faculty members received layoff notices yesterday. PSU said it is the first round of nearly 100 notices that will go out. In an email to KGW, the university said the first round consists of non-tenure track faculty members. Their positions will end following this academic year. That's in mid-June. It's part of a cost-cutting initiative that also includes retirement incentives for eligible faculty. The Washington Interscholastic Activities Association, or WIAA, is considering changes to how transgender student athletes can participate in sports across the state. Bridget Chavez has the details of the proposals on the table and what comes next.
Go! New policy changes could soon shake up sports for high school and middle school athletes across Washington.
So we have two amendments that have been proposed by our membership, which
Justin Kesterson, the Assistant Executive Director of the Washington Interscholastic Activities Association, explained the two proposals that are being considered. Amendment number 7 would limit participation in girls' sports to only students assigned female at birth. Transgender students and boys would participate in an open division. Amendment number 8 takes a different approach and offers 3 separate divisions, one for boys, one for girls, and one for transgender students.
in both of these instances, we had 5 schools that signed off.
David Vanderyacht is the superintendent of the Linden School District. He says a transgender female's victory in last year's 2A state track championship stirred up controversy, leading the school board to direct him to take action.
Directing me to work within the WIA amendment process to develop a proposal that would protect the integrity of girls' sports while also honoring the dignity of all student athletes.
Vanderyacht says he hopes to reach an outcome that is inclusive, equitable, and fair for all student athletes.
We want our transgender student athletes in relationship and community. We also want opportunities for our female athletes.
The ACLU of Washington called the current policy that allows transgender athletes to participate in sports with the gender they identify with a success. They said, in part in a statement, the ACLU of Washington encourages WIAA members to uphold existing policy and will be closely monitoring the situation. Bridget Chavez, King 5 News.